You ever check your blood sugar and find it way higher than expected, and it turns out to not be that high, and then you had to go through a roller coaster? I have before, and today we're going to talk about how to avoid that blood sugar disaster. The number one mistake you can make with your blood sugar. Um, just recently, I had a night where I woke up, I checked my blood sugar at like 1 in the morning or something, and it read, 240, something crazy like that, right? And I thought, wow, 240, my blood sugar hasn't been that high in a long time. But because I was groggy, I was sleepy, I didn't think about much further. My Humalog pen syringe combo thing was nearby, so I dialed it up, took 5 units, went back to bed. And then 30 minutes later, I wake up and I start feeling real hungry. And I'm like, wait a minute. If my blood sugar was high, why do I feel hungry? Because usually when my blood sugar is high, I don't feel hungry. I usually only start to feel hungry outside, normal hungry time, which is right before I eat, if my blood sugar is low. So I get up, I wash my hands to double check, and what do you know? My blood sugar was actually 120. And it was trending downwards. Uh-oh. So I had to end up taking a bunch of glucose tabs that night. I ended up waking up. My blood sugar was even higher than it was before. It was just a big fat mess, right? Where you're going up and down because a blood sugar reading was a miscalculation. It was a false positive, a false high. How do you avoid these situations? Well, first, the explanation of this, of course, is that there's residue on your fingers. Could have been from a glucose tablet, could have been from something else that ended up messing with the blood sugar test strip. Now, don't assume that this residue goes away on its own. This happened to me early in the morning after I've been tossing and turning in bed, right? And yet still, there was enough on my finger to make my blood sugar meter whack out. Keep that in mind. It can happen anytime, even when you don't expect it. So if you're ever in the situation where you find that your blood sugar is higher than you think, first thing to do, trust your gut. If you're ever very surprised by a high number like that, and your gut tells you this doesn't seem quite right, then maybe it truly is too bad to be true, right? So double test. First thing you can try, if you don't have anything around to clean a finger with, you could test with your pinky. When in doubt, pinky out. Because usually your pinky isn't exposed to all the same stuff the rest of your fingers are. Usually I find that my pinky ends up testing lower in these situations because my pinky isn't touching the same stuff that my dominant fingers, like my thumb and my index finger, are touching, right? So that'd be a good way to see if something's off. Alternatively, of course, you could wash your hands. You could use a alcohol swab, but just find some way to clean up your hands and test again to make sure that number is accurate. Because if it's not, then you're going to end up on a roller coaster. You're going to end up correcting when you shouldn't. You're going to end up going way too low and then way too high, and then you're going to be on that roller coaster. We want to avoid that roller coaster. So make sure you test, and if you're in doubt, test again. Test on that pinky, wash your hands, test on another finger. And if you're worried about strips, look into getting an unlimited strip plan. I have a video about that. I'll link below. But be sure to look into that. Be sure to always test whenever you're in doubt. Never be afraid to waste a strip, right? Because it's better to catch that false positive and save yourself the heartache than it is to have to deal with it. That's all I have, everyone. Keep taming that type 1. Avoid that number one blood sugar mistake. The false positive, the false high blood sugar can be a real nemesis sometimes. And if you do, you'll be able to tame your type 1 that much easier. Stay great, everyone. What's up, guys? If you liked that video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, be sure to subscribe, and be sure to share the video with your friends so that way the world can find out what it truly takes to tame type 1. Along with that, be sure to check out my website, tametype1.com, where you can find testimonials, where you can find more tips and tricks, and you can even sign up for type 1 diabetic coaching. Along with that, if you aren't on them yet, please follow me on my social media platforms, and not just Facebook, YouTube, but also Gab, Rumble, Telegram, and Odyssey. We never know when the censorship overlords in big tech are going to come for me next, being a truth teller when it comes to health, so be sure to follow these platforms, and that way, no matter what happens, you'll always be able to follow us and you'll always learn the next new tips in taming type 1 diabetes. Follow along, everyone, keep updated, share the video, and learn what it takes to tame type 1. I'll see y'all next time.